All right, folks, get ready for the Amiga news for the week of March 23rd, 2025, with a very special guest this week, Mr. Dan Wood of the Retro Hour podcast. Let's freaking go.
Amiga News with AmigaBill.
And Dan. What's up, Dan? Welcome to the Amiga News section. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for coming on this week. Dan and I were just talking in the live stream about Vintage Computer Festival East, which is coming up April 4th, 5th, and 6th in Wall Township, New Jersey. And Dan is going to be one of the moderators of the Amiga 40 roundtables. Thanks for coming on today, Dan.
Yeah, you'd have to ask me twice to talk about Amiga. I was straight here.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Dan, you are co-host of the Retro Hour podcast, and why don't you tell us a little bit about that for folks who are watching who may not be familiar with you?
Yeah, well, we've been doing it. We're talking before that we're reaching 500 episodes a bit later on this year. And originally we only intended to do like one or two to kind of see how it went, but here we are nearly a decade later. It's a show that comes out every Friday, and you can get it from all the usual podcast places, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of those places. But yeah, I should put the audio on YouTube as well if you want to find it on here. But yeah, really the idea is that we do news at the start of the podcast to general retro news, chat about what's been happening over the last week. So I host it with my co-host Ravi Abbott and Joe Fox. Obviously, a lot of people in the Amiga community will know Ravi. Joe is more of a console guy, so he's kind of there to rein me and Ravi back in when we go to Amiga Heavy. And then second half of the podcast is when we bring people on for an interview. So we've had got some of the absolute legends of the industry on the show. You know, Nolan Bushnell's been on. You know, we're talking Amiga stuff. We've had Dave Haney's been on the show before. We had Randall Jessup on. We cover indie games as well. The guys from Badger Punch Games were on our most recent episode. We had Kelly Sumner, former managing director of Commodore UK, on the show last month as well. So that's what it is really. It's a podcast that brings you up to date on what's been happening in retro over the last week, and then hears stories from industry veterans.
Oh, it's awesome. It's my favorite podcast, and it's the best retro podcast out there. You guys do such a great job, and the format's great with the news at the beginning and then the interview in the second half. It's fantastic. I've learned so much by listening to your podcast because obviously I'm an Amiga guy, but I don't know like a ton about the other platforms, and I've just learned so much hearing from the other engineers and the other folks in the community, in the retro community, and it's an awesome podcast. It's just a fun listen too. Like even if you're not familiar with the topic, it's just fun to listen to you guys. You have some really great chemistry. So congrats on 500 episodes. That's incredible.
Yeah, we need to plan something big for that. So watch this space.
I'm sure you will. Well, speaking of news and big things, there was some big news in the Amiga community this week, folks. A lot of folks are super pumped about the full-sized Amiga console, as they call it.
Console.
Yeah, this was expected originally to come out, I believe, at the end of 2024, and then it got delayed. It got pushed until first quarter of 2025, and here we are in the first quarter of 2025, knocking on quarter number 2, and the full-size Amiga has been delayed again. And this is coming from Retro Games Ltd. Dan, I believe you got a couple of their other products with you right now. For folks who don't know, they produce kind of recreations of classic platforms. Dan has got some right there. He's got
the Atari 400 Mini and the A500 Mini as well, which are little plug-and-play emulation boxes. But yeah, you and I were talking before we started recording that their design, though, they feel really well-designed products, don't they? And even the interface on them, I love the little carousel menus. And if I'm ever going to a friend's house and I want to bring an Amiga over for a gaming night, this is generally the one that I pick up, just because you can plug it into a modern TV. You know, there's no configuring anything, even though I've got a workbench set up on there as well now. But yeah, the awesome little machines.
Yeah, they're really cool machines. They're really well designed, and you can really tell that they put a lot of thought into all the little details. Like, for example, even the HDMI cable is the right color that matches the Amiga 500. It's the little details like that that really...
Even Apple can't do that with their cable.
No, exactly. So as a result, lots of folks are super excited about the full-size Amiga. You know, if you look back in the history, they did a Commodore 64 Mini and then did a full-size Commodore 64 with a working keyboard, because even though It looks like the keyboard may work on the A500 Mini. It looks like the keyboard could work on the Atari 400 Mini. They don't. So folks not at all. So folks are super excited for a full-size Amiga. Originally, they used the word console, which was a little perplexing to me, because when I think of a console, I think of a CD32 or CD-TV, a gaming device without a keyboard. But it's going to be, they let the cat out of the bag this week. That is going to be an actual full-size Amiga with a working keyboard. So that is encouraging. What is discouraging is that it's been delayed again for legal reasons. Now, they posted this on Facebook. Unfortunately, the legal battles are very familiar to folks and fans of the Amiga community, and it's really kind of a mess. But let's read together their actual statement, and then we also have a statement from the competing company. I'll call them competitors, Hyperion. But here we go. Full-size Amiga release update. As everyone knows, it has long been our intention to release a full-size sequel to the A500 Mini in Q1 of 2025. Despite the best efforts of our team and partners, this will sadly not be possible within that timeline. Unfortunately, the ongoing legal disputes between Hyperion Entertainment and the Amiga parties are preventing us from proceeding with manufacturing. Many of you in the Amiga scene will recall that Hyperion initiated legal action against the Amiga parties in 2018 and 2019. They even tried unsuccessfully to challenge the release of the A500 Mini, despite such interference being a Hyperion prohibited action under their 2009 settlement agreement. Our friends at Amiga and Cliento, who have supported us throughout the development of the C64, the VIC-20, and the A500 Mini, have been working tirelessly to resolve the issue as swiftly as possible. However, our manufacturing and retail partners have chosen to postpone the release of our full-size machine until the legal situation is fully resolved. We appreciate the disappointment and frustration that these delays cause, but unfortunately the situation is completely beyond our control. In the near future, we will share more details about the machine itself, including images, features, and software lineup, including one brand new game that will make its debut on the machine. We will also issue a revised release date, which will be as soon as is practically possible. Thank you for your continued patience and support. We do understand that you are as frustrated as we are. While these legal issues do not directly involve us, they do of course have an effect on what we do. Everyone's working hard to resolve these issues as quickly as possible, and we believe that a resolution is in sight. In light of the ongoing delays, we think it's only fair to share with you that the machine is to be called the A1200. The team at RGL. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I think first takeaway from that is the fact that it's going to be an A1200, which I think is a great shout. So I remember we had the guys from Retro Games Limited on the podcast a couple of years ago when the A500 Mini came out, and they said on our show we're going to do a full-size one. But I remember he said at the time they weren't going to do a full-size Amiga 500 because there's so much plastic. It's a big machine, so they had to think about how they were going to do it. And originally I thought, well, would they do an Amiga 600? But obviously that machine doesn't have the best reputation. And everyone loves the A1200. So I think, it definitely makes sense to choose that machine in terms of the form factor of that doesn't feel too oversized on a desk these days.
Yeah, exactly. The 1200 is kind of the perfect Amiga in my opinion, like from a hardware and a size standpoint as well. It's because it's got the numeric keypad as well, which a 600 doesn't have. So I know there's some games and software where you need that. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't have the same nostalgia factor as a 500 though. I understand why they would want to do a 500, best-selling Amiga of all time. But if you do it like a 1-to-1 scale, then there'll be a lot of empty space in there.
Not a tiny motherboard in the corner, it would look a bit strange.
Yeah, so this is exciting. It also opens up the doors to, depending on what type of keyboard they use, maybe there's a way in which people could buy this machine and use the keyboard in the real 1200. I don't know. Like, is it going to be, is it going to be exactly the same design as the real 1200? I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. I think so. I haven't got the Maxi Commodore 64 they did, but I have used them at events before, and it feels very similar to the original from what I remember. So I think, I mean, we were talking earlier that I think even just to get hold of a new Amiga 1200 case and keyboard, that's kind of a purchase in itself for me, even though it probably will be. I mean, generally their Maxi machines are pretty similar to the Minis. It's probably just going to be like the same machine, but in a there you go, look at that.
Yeah. This is a Raspberry Pi. This is an Amiga 1200 case from A1200.net. It's gorgeous. and I've got a keyboard from. This is actually the Kipper 2K keyboard, which is a bit of a unicorn. But I know there are new keyboards being produced now. Amiga Store is selling them. They're mechanical keyboards, so you could potentially like just build one of these even before the A1200 comes out. And I mean, you know, like when it comes down to it, like the Pi is an absolute beast. I'm actually using a Raspberry Pi right now to do this Amiga news section. Like it's an absolute beast. Like when it comes down to Amiga emulation, like I totally like respect all the options out there. You know, you got your Misters, your A600GS, your Vampires, but man, the Pi just kind of does it all too. You know, the Pi just
I love the Pi as well. I mean, every time a new Raspberry Pi comes out, I've just got the 500. Recently, it's like an all-in-one keyboard model. I've got so many of them just like doing different things in different rooms around the house, and yeah, they're just incredible machines. And I agree. I mean, you know, I've got emulation boxes. Often I'll set up like an LPC with an Amiga emulator on there. I've got an Amithlon machine behind me that I've been setting up recently. I'm actually going to make a YouTube video on that, so that should be coming out in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I generally spend like a weekend configuring them, and then like, now what? Then like the joy is actually building the emulation machine for me, rather than actually using it.
Yeah,
original hardware. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling. But the thing that's great about the Pis too, it got the micro SD cards. Like you can just pop in one micro SD card and you're using like PiOS, which is like Linux. You know, pop in another one, use AmiKit. Pop in another one, use PyMega. You have so many options. It's really, really fantastic. But but interesting. So you know, RGL pretty much called out Hyperion in this post, and Hyperion responded. But their response is very, very interesting. It says, "Hi Retro Games. As you know, Hyperion Entertainment underwent a change in ownership and management in December last year. So far, we, the new owners and management, have not been contacted by you in any way. That is how it is. But just to set the record straight, we have nothing against what you want to do and would be happy to start discussions. Have a nice day! ! Best regards, Hyperion Entertainment." This is a strange response, Dan. It's a little strange to me.
And it was the fact that it was all done in public as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, you know, which just feel a bit odd for a company to do it in that way. And I mean, the fact you mentioned before in their original statement that the settlement was in 2009, it kind of proves how long this has dragged on for. You know, 16 years ago that happened, and it's still an issue today. And it always feels like there is these kind of things blocking anything in the Amiga world. And it would be nice if, I mean, I don't really know whose fault it is. And, you know, you and I are even a bit confused as to who owns what in the Amiga world these days. You know, I've met Mike from Cloanto many times, always been a really nice guy to me. I love, you know, their emulation packages. And I think he does do a lot for the community. The guys from Hyperion, I mean, I love, you know, Amiga OS 3.2 is on like pretty much all of my Amigas in this room now. So, you know, what they've done in terms of the classic OS and Amiga OS 4, I've got, you know, had OS 4 machines for years. And I know that Ben Herman's actually left Hyperion recently, who was running the company before. So like they said in that message there, it's under new management now. So maybe there's been a bit of a change in direction and, you know, maybe an end in sight to all of this copyright drama that we've had for so many decades.
You know, I can hope for the best, but I think this is going to be a really big machine. I think the A500, the full-size one, is going to be massive, and there's a lot of money on the line. So I'm sure it's going to be complicated. Again, the whole Amiga copyright issue it's so complicated. A lot of people are saying it's, you know, beating a dead horse, and in some ways it is, but in some ways it isn't, because like I said, there's a lot of money to be made. So that this horse ain't dead, baby. This horse ain't dead, baby, by any stretch.
If we're talking about the most in-demand kind of retro hardware, that the full-size Amiga, I've seen so many people begging for that, you know, on forums and Facebook groups for a couple of years now. So I think, yeah, it's definitely anticipated by a lot of people.
Absolutely, yeah. Even on my Amiga News YouTube videos, even if I don't mention it in that episode, like people say, "Hey, have you heard about the full-size Amiga, you know, when's that coming out?" Yeah, so I mean, the bottom line is the thing that's really sad about this whole situation is that it's the fans that suffer. You know, the fans obviously really want it, and the fans aren't getting it because of all this legal mumbo jumbo. And yeah, it's really unfortunate. And it seems like there's basically two big players in the, you know, Amiga scene right now, Hyperion, and, you know, it seems like Hyperion's like, there's two teams almost, like you got Hyperion, and then you get, you know, I think they're associated with Aeon, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Aeon, Hyperion, and Amiga Kit. There's kind of like, I feel like I'm just kind of guessing they're there, and then you got Retro Games, and you got Cloanto over there. I don't really know how it all works out. I'm just kind of, that's just what it seems like to me as a fan. And they always, because some folks own the rights to the Kickstart, some folks own the rights to the operating system, and it's just
messy.
It's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. And like you said, like you've met Mike at Amiga events. I don't know if I've met anyone directly from Hyperion, but like Matthew Lehman's been there. He's always been super, super nice. Trevor's amazing. They've always been like super nice, and they all love Amiga. So it's I hope they can just all they can all just work it out. I don't know who's what's going on here. It's just very strange that Hyperion said that they've never been contacted by Retro Games, and Retro Games said Hyperion's the ones that blocking them. So I don't understand that. That math doesn't add up to me.
Unless it was in their previous guys, like I said. I mean, they're under new management now, so maybe, cause I did read they went bankrupt anyway a few times. I think 2022 was the last time.
They have gone bankrupt a bunch of times, and I think that's really just kind of like a. I think when you go bankrupt, at least here in the States, it's more of like a classification, than actually like not having anything. But but the bottom line is it's a bummer. I hope they get it all sorted out, and I hope the Amiga fans get what they want, because that's what I really care about. I care about the Amiga fans getting fun stuff to play with.
And it feels like so much time and resources are wasted on these legal cases. It could be better used.
As Dave Haney says,
software.
Absolutely. As Dave Haney says, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a real shame, and I would love for the legal stuff to get sorted out, but we've been dealing with it since 1994. Like I said before, when Commodore originally folded, it was the adventure began.
Yeah.
And every
ongoing ever since.
Yeah, every Westchester Amiga user group meeting since has just been like, who owns Amiga now?
Yeah. But I think the fact they put it out there publicly, though, I mean, in a way, the fact that we've seen Hyperion say, we've got no problem with it, then maybe it'll get resolved now, because it's if the blame can't be put on them, it would seem.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, who knows? We have no problem with it as long as we get a cut, right?
Yeah.
But I don't blame them.
The way it goes in business.
Yeah, it's just business. I have friends who are like hardcore business guys, and they'll literally like sue each other during the day, and then at night they'll be together at the bar drinking. It's just different. Yeah. It's like they take the emotion out of it, and it just becomes a business thing. So. Regardless of what's going on, I have no idea what's going on, but I just hope it all gets sorted soon and the Amiga fans can get what they want. In the meantime, I'll be rocking my Raspberry Pi, baby.
And it would be great as well, because I mentioned that I've got Workbench installed on my A500 Mini, which you've got to do manually. It's not part of the original bill, but it would be nice if they, if all this copyright kind of chaos got sorted out, and they could actually bundle Workbench with it as well, give you an option to do that officially. That would be awesome, I think. That'd be
a killer, and it would make a lot of sense, especially with a working keyboard. That'd be super. Yeah. Imagine Workbench 3.2 on the full size Amiga. That if they could just maybe they can work it out. That'd be my biggest hope, because like I said, I think at their heart they're all Amiga fans too. So I hope they can work that out. Yeah, totally. Yeah, like Paul, you rock, dude. I got the AGS, the Amiga Game Selector, on my A500 Mini, and that just breathed all new life into my A500 Mini. You can drop to Workbench as well. It's really, really cool.
They even got internet working on it recently.
Amazing.
Which I haven't tried yet, but yeah, that's cool.
You know what? That's the beauty of the Amiga community. That's why I love it so much. Is like where there's a will, there's a way. The people are so smart and so dedicated that folks figure stuff out. And we got the A1200 NG coming out as well. From Amiga. That looks interesting. It's kind of like my Raspberry Pi setup. They got an Orange Pi in there, but they use a lot of the ports. They've got a compact flash port. They've got the Grease Weasel built in, right? So you can use real floppy drive. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff, happening for
a lot of options as well, isn't there? If you want to get a modern machine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the big news of the week. Who knows when this will get sorted. I hope it does get sorted out soon. So the Amiga fans can have some fun toys to play with, because they deserve it, man. The Amiga community is the absolute best, and there's so many great people in this community, and they're so supportive. They deserve the best. I love them. I love the Amiga community. I love the people in this community. They rock. Speaking of people doing cool things in the Amiga community, Dan, I talked about this last week. David Falksen, he came up with this really cool idea. We have things like the Amiga Art Contest, like let's limit ourselves to the capabilities of the Amiga. Let's try and create an image with only 16 colors, and that's something that you can visually see and work within the limitations. But David had this really cool idea, like what about the software? Like what about the word processors? Like I want to inspire people to bust out their final writer. I want, their Wordsworth. So
Yep.
he's having a jam, and it's a jam and exhibition. So it's called Retro World Timeless Stories, a short story exhibition created on Commodore Amiga word processors. The registration for it is now open. So the idea is that you can get creative, create a short story, but that you're supposed to create it all on your real Amiga or an emulated Amiga. But as long as you use like a vintage word processor, a vintage Amiga word processor to create it, he's gonna, you take your screenshot. The screenshot will be part of this online museum that he's going to make, and it's just it's a nod to all the classic word processors that we used to use back then. And I thought it was a really unique and cool idea.
Yeah. Which word processor did you use on the Amiga? Did you have a favorite?
I was a Final Writer. I used a lot of Final Writer, and I also used PageStream. Even though it's not a word processor, it's it's more of a desktop publishing program. But that's what I used to use to make the Westchester Amiga User Group newsletter back in the day.
Awesome.
Yeah. So and I used to do a lot of I used to write in Final Writer, especially. I got Final Writer. I think it was a cover disk, right? So I would write in Final Writer because that's spell check. And then I would bring that into PageStream and lay it out. Yo, what's up, DJ Hoffman? Hoffman loves the Wordsworth. I just love the name Wordsworth. You were Wordsworth too? Yeah.
I was a beta tester for Digita.
Oh, really?
Back in the day, yeah. I mean, I think they advertised in Amiga Shopper magazine asking for beta testers. And, I was only like a 12-year-old kid at the time. I had no idea like who I was. So I wrote in, and then, I beta tested. It was after Wordsworth 3, I think, because that had a load of bugs. The original release of Wordsworth 3, so then they kind of put it out to the Amiga community if anyone wants to help with beta testing. So I beta tested 4SE that came with the Amiga 1200, I think, and then there was 5, 6, and 7, right to the end, and Organizer that they did as well. So I've actually got in my drawer behind me, and I should really image these. I've got a lot of like beta versions and alpha builds of that software.
Oh wow!
That I haven't seen anywhere online, so I should get those images and uploaded to.
That would be that would be amazing. Put it on archive. You know who else would love that? Would be Amiga Love. He's got this really great archive project that he's working on too, where he's trying to get like discs from Amiga user groups and some of all these lost items. He's trying to put them all in one place. That'd be really cool for his archive as well. GeoPublish. Bob says GeoPublish. Kind Words and Wordsworth for Pixels at Dawn Gaming. Kind Words. Transwrite. I never heard of Kind Words or Transwrite. What's up, Vincent GR? Great to see you, my main man.
I used Transwrite for a while, actually. Yeah, I think my mother brought a copy of that home because she was doing some stuff in Pascal, I remember, for a job, and she needed to write some stuff up at home, and she used my Amiga for it randomly. I'm not really sure why, but she needed a word processor, and I think she got a copy of it off a friend or something. So I remember her having a photocopied manual and trying to use that on my Amiga.
Very cool.
At the time, yeah.
No, that is awesome. So anyway, the registration is now open if you're interested in participating in David's. I mean, it's not really of a contest, more of a jam. It's an online museum piece. You can register here. All the links will be in the description of this video. So yeah, definitely check out Retro Words 2025. A very, very cool project generated in the Amiga community.
There's something very nice as well about, because I do occasionally do word processing in Wordsworth on the Amiga, and obviously it's kind of tax season. It's always tax season, but I often do my taxes on my CDTV.
No way.
Because it makes it fun. Yes, I'll open I've got Transwrite and Platinum Scribble, if you remember that, installed on my CDTV. So I'll go through and just write up all my stuff in that, and then transfer it over to my my Mac and put it on Google Docs. But it just actually makes, number one, using the Amiga is always fun anyway. But number two, having no distractions. So I'm writing on my Mac, I'm checking Facebook every 5 minutes or emails coming in. So I think, having an offline machine for word processing, I think, is a really good thing to get focused on the task in hand.
That's a really good point. I never thought of that. Yet maybe gamify your taxes to make it a little bit more digestible. I tell you, I'm suffering through mine right now. I just want. I just sit at my my Google Docs and a bottle of scotch, and I'm just crying.
Do it on your Amiga, it'll make it fun.
Yeah, exactly. What's up, son? Great to see you. Oh man, so that's a great idea, Dan. I totally dig it. All right, next up in the Amiga news section for the week. Dan, I don't know if you know how to pronounce this. I call it Pjusk. It's a really cool game that came out from Zuper Dan of Zupersoft last week. It's a puzzle game. Zuper Dan, if you're not familiar with him, super soft. They made the best Amiga game of all time. It's called Boom.
Yeah.
And this is the sequel. This is the follow-up, not a sequel. It's this follow-up to Boom. But now Dan has made a level editor for Pjusk, which I'm making public for the Amiga community. I hope people will make awesome levels and submit them to me. If I get enough levels, I'll release an expansion disc. So I love it. See, again, Amiga community absolutely rocks. This is such a cool idea to get the community involved in new games. It's super rad, and you know, like doing level editing was a big part of retro gaming back then. I know people used to make their own Doom maps and all kinds of cool stuff.
Worms. I remember making Worms maps in
Worms.
back in the day,
yes, yes. I know they're making a new version of Worms as well. Didn't you have them on your podcast? I don't know.
I've been talking to Andy Davidson, so I'd like to get him on. I think he's been on Arcade Attack recently, another podcast.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. Yep.
Yeah, but it's I think I love the fact that he's back doing Worms Director's Cut 2 for the Amiga, which I think it said that's kind of due first half of the year, so hopefully not too far away now.
Totally. What's up, Texas Boost Baller? Good to see you. Oh, it's pronounced Pjusk.
Yes.
Pjusk.
J is Y.
He's got a YouTube video here. I think this Raspberry Pi can play the video. Let's see what happens here. I'm gonna click on the YouTube. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go, Dan. We're rocking and rolling. Let's see. Oh yeah, I gotta see if I turn on the aux sounds. This should work in theory. Yeah. Oh, there it is. There's the editor. That's neat. So you can actually like make the maze, and then those are all the different characters in the game, the different enemies. Each enemy has different capabilities. It's a very sophisticated game, Dan. And there he's placing the exit. Okay, but I'm gonna put an enemy right there, and a sword. Okay, yeah, the game is a very complicated game. It's very cool. There's a lot of math involved, and it's a real brain twister.
The level editor looks pretty simple to use, though.
Yeah, nice maybe I can make my own levels, but I won't be able to play them because I'm too dumb.
Put them out there for people that are better gamers than we are.
Yeah. Oh, there's Amiga Kit. What's up, Amiga Kit? We were talking about you before. Hope all is well, dude. Amiga Cami is asking, is it a web-based editor? That's a good question, Amiga Cami.
It looks like it, doesn't it?
It does look like it. It looks like he's doing it in a web browser there. Now he's playing. That's so cool. So this adds a whole nother dimension to the game. I love the fact that so many new games are coming out for the Amiga. Over 60 last year. This is a good one. Cool. Very cool. So Pjusk. I forgot how to pronounce it. From Super Dan, now as a level editor. Very, very cool.
You should know, having a Polish wife, that J is Y.
Yeah, right. I probably should.
Yes,
I know how to say things, but I don't know how to read them off the paper. Oh man. Now this, I always try and find like these little unique Amiga stories every week, Dan, and I go to Reddit for my wild, weird, and wacky stories because I've seen some wild stuff over there on the Reddit. my man Amiga Love is like one of the mods over there. But this was pretty cool, man. This guy, DanBy, he is making a new Amiga Directory. And this is like a list of, he's kind of like Rob Smith's retro directory.
Yeah.
He's trying to put together just like a wiki of all things Amiga. And it's very, very good. For quite a long time now, I've been curating a directory of useful links for Amiga content, somewhat as a FAQ, somewhat to help quickly give people info when they ask about things. So I've enabled the wiki on the subreddit to make it a bit more accessible. If you think there's anything missing or it'd be useful to add, please do so and I'll get it added. So I have a link here to the actual wiki, and this is a link to his original post. If you guys go check it out and you see something missing, definitely let DanBy know and he'll add it. But check it out. It's a really cool list. I totally dig it. There's Super Dan. I see you there.
It's a great idea as well. Cause you probably remember the Amiga Web Directory.
Oh, classic.
In the early days of the online Amiga, and that took offline in 2000. So it's been like 25 years since we really had anything like that dedicated to the Amiga. So I think that's a really good idea.
Totally. There you go, Amiga Kit. I see you there, Amiga Kit. Amiga Kit is there. Oh, Retro Ready, awesome. Retro Ready donated that awesome Commodore sign to the stream. They'll be at Vintage Computer Festival East holding down things. No, Retro Ready. No, I'm sorry. Retro Rewind is what I was thinking of. Retro Ready is Lucas. Lucas is amazing. He also is a big supporter of the stream. So many great ones here. We got all the vendors, hardware designers. There's the Bifrost, A12R.net. There's your Rasport. I got a Rasport keyboard. It's awesome. He's got a great Immortal joysticks, Amiga for Mortals, checkmate cases, secondhand vendors, repair and recapping services. This is a really great list, Dan, because a lot of folks need to repair their Amigas. These girls are getting up there in age, and they need a little TLC, especially the recapping.
Yeah, it's essential, isn't it? You can't ignore that, really.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh, you want to get yourself an FPGA Amiga? Awesome stuff. The Mini MiG, the Mistress, the Apollo team for the Vampire. Then all information about Amiga hardware, Amiga guides, the Amiga Museum. It's a really, really fantastic list. Hardware displays that work. I get this question a lot, like which monitors will work with my Amiga because it's got the 15 kilohertz output on it.
Yeah. Whereas you and I have got the same problem of breeding CRTs by the looks of it in our setups. They keep growing. Every time I come in, there's another one.
There's so I love. There's not to bring back the retro experience. I think the CRT is a big part of it. Even though the flicker and it's not ideal, but I mean some things actually do look better on the CRT. When I look at some of the modern demos or some games that are really designed to work with a CRT, it does look better. And I just there's to me like the keyboard and the monitor are. That interface is so important to the retro experience. Software, open source software, public domain software, Workbench and OS, networking software, tons of software, emulation. A lot of folks ask, how do I get WinUAE? How do I get FSUAE? Boom, all these links here. Amiga News, lots of Amiga News sites. That's awesome. Magazines, Amiga Addict magazine, What IFF, all kinds of great stuff there. An archive of Amiga media, Discord channels, podcasts and video channels. Very, very cool. Wait, I don't know if I see the retro hour there. Maybe it's not because Amiga exclusive.
Yeah, we're not Amiga specific. Yeah,
I think you qualify though. Yeah, I think you got. Right. I mean, because we know Amiga is at your heart.
yeah. I'd do Amiga every week if I could, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Amiga Kit said. AmigaKit.amiga.sk.museum. I can't. It's hard for me to click on the links and show them because I'm using my Pi right now. I don't have my chat up, so sorry about that. Amiga Kit. And Han Solo says AmigaSource.com is another good one. But anyway, I thought that was really cool. Great job to DanBy for putting together this list. And yeah, it's all good stuff. Now this is really cool. This was in our WOG newsletter last month, and a lot of folks said, "Hey, I saw the I called it PyDPainter, but it's really PyDPainter, and this is a really cool project. This is it's a Deluxe Paint 3 remake, and a new version has been released. This will work in a web browser, so you can use this program. It's just like using Deluxe Paint in a web browser. This recreates the Deluxe Paint experience into modern computers. It allows you to load IFF and ANIM5 files with the right screen format, resolution, and even a light CRT simulation and color cycles. Oh, and you know what? It's actually a download. It's a downloadable exe. So if you go to PyDPainter.org, you can check out the source for it. I know a lot of folks. I know Wayne Ashworth. He's a great Amiga artist. He's a huge fan of the PyDPainter. I know Adam Spring hit me up. He's like, dude, I saw the PyDPainter in your WOG newsletter, and it absolutely rocks. Yo, no worries, Real Tony rocks. Take care.
It's a great idea though. I think even for anyone doing pixel art today, even for like indie games, that must be really useful to have a modern version of DPaint. We don't have to mess around with emulation or using old hardware. Having that available on modern systems. Yeah, I think it's awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. There's the Windows exe here. So yeah, let's take a quick look. This is a quick little 3-minute video. It's the PyDPainter demo. It's really, really good. I think you folks are going to get really excited about this. I think it's a neat piece of software. All right, full screen.
This is just a quick demo of some of the fun things you can do with PyDPainter. You can see I made a big brush there. Then you can cycle colors through a range in the palette. And then you hit the tab key and they start moving. That used to be one of the fun things that I do with Deluxe Paint back in the day. Then you can turn on symmetry and paint again. Looks almost psychedelic here, and especially when you change to some other colors and another range. These are just the default ranges that are built into PyDPainter when it first starts up. You can define your own in the palette requester. So one of the other fun things you can do is load some of the old Amiga pictures that were out there. Of course, the famous King Tut which is, you can start, you can grab an eye as a brush and then you can stamp it down, draw with it. You can also manipulate the brush. You can change the size, or you can flip it, rotate it. I'm going to rotate it here, and then you can stamp it down again like that. And that's some of the things you can do with brushes. And one of my most favorite pictures was this gorilla, I think because of the shading. It was all drawn by hand with pixel by pixel. Let's see here. Oh, Venus. That's a suitably cropped image of Venus done by Avril Harrington back on the Amiga in the day. So you can choose a number of colors and things there. I just showed that briefly. Now some of the other things you can do gradient ranges. So when you draw a circle, it can fill it with a gradient. Makes it almost look like light shining on it. You can change the dithering, so instead of being random, it's ordered dithering. This symmetry mode also works, and you can draw your filled circles using symmetry. And also polygons, and as you see, it rotates them. And then I turned off symmetry there, and you can just draw polygons and it shades them. You can also zoom in, and you use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out like that once you have the magnifying tool open. And you can see the tooltips that pop up. So the fill tool there can tell you what the mouse buttons do, and if you right click on it, what happens.
Tooltips.
Tools like the
We didn't have that back then.
the
That's nice.
there, the lower right and upper.
That looks
left
really fully
there.
featured, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is super awesome. You know,
the line.
DPaint was like my go-to back then,
That's,
Dan.
the short tour.
And this will be fun to pick it up. I loved I loved DPaint. That was one of my most important pieces of software. And DPaint 3 was really groundbreaking for me because it had animation. It had those anim brushes he was talking about. And animation, I wasn't good at drawing. I couldn't do pixel art, but I used the animation feature for the titles in all the videos, my home videos I used to make back then.
Yeah, I used to use it at school as well. I was in we had like an AV club at school where we made like small movies and submitted them to like school video awards shows, that kind of thing. Yeah, and I used to bring my Amiga in. We'd do the titles as well in DPaint, and also a thing called Scroller and Scala I used to use as well for like end credits. So yeah, obviously, I mean, you know better than anyone how powerful the Amiga was for video production. But yeah, DPaint, the fact that it came in the box with the Amiga as well.
True.
Was, yeah, I think that helped. And that image of like King Tut, I'll always associate that with DPaint forever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. DPaint, and it's so cool. So this PyDPainter, definitely check it out, folks. The link will be in the description of the video. And yo, Namcos, thank you so much for the raid, Namcos. It's a pleasure to have you here. If you're just joining the stream, welcome. I'm AmigaBill, and we are catching up on all the Amiga news of the week. And I'm joined by a very good friend and amazing guest, Dan Wood of the Retro Hour podcast. Dan is going to be hosting the Amiga 40 roundtables at Vintage Computer Festival East coming up in less than 2 weeks now in Wall Township, New Jersey. So Dan was talking about the show with us, and now we're going through the news together. So this one, Dan, this is really interesting. Supercade Deluxe. Now, I'm a big fan of books. I love books, especially visual books. And a while back, I'm gonna say like maybe 15 years ago, this book called Supercade came out. And I should have gotten it before stream. I could probably run upstairs and get it. But it is an absolutely gorgeous hard-covered book all about classic video games, especially arcade games. It was like the first one, because it was like before retro became a thing. To me, this was the pioneer. This was like the first like beautiful coffee table book about retro gaming, about arcades. And I saw Van Burnham was the creator of the book, and she posted this on Facebook just a couple days ago. She now has a Kickstarter out for Supercade Deluxe. It's a reissue of the original Supercade, a visual history of the video game age, chronicling the era from 1971 to 1984, featuring a new hardcover edition, remastered images, upgraded design, and over 100 additional pages. It's now live on Kickstarter. I have absolutely nothing to do with the Kickstarter. I don't know Van Burnham other than being Facebook friends, but I can tell you that this was one of my favorite books of all time, and I'm really excited for this because now that is a coveted book, Dan. Like, I've seen it go for like $400 on eBay.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's a very classic and coveted book. Van Burnham said the Kickstarter campaign for the remastered reissue of the original Supercade, A Visual History of the Video Game Age, 1971 to 1984, is now live. The first book to illustrate and document the history, legacy, and visual language of video gaming's golden age. This new deluxe edition will feature over 100 pages of new content, remastered images, and premium design. We're so close to reaching the next stretch goal to unlock additional print upgrades. Please help get us there. So we'll check it out real quick. Again, it's not necessarily 100% Amiga related, but if you're into retro gaming, this is definitely something to check out. Like I said, the original book is really fantastic. Supercade remastered. I think she was saying that let's take it's a quick 1-minute video. Let's take a look at it. We'll full screen it, and boom, Supercade. So yeah, there you have it. Super cool. Like I said, it's one of my favorite books of all time. And how do I escape out of this?
The visuals and the design of it look really nice as well. 'Cause, I mean, I did quite a lot of work with Sam and the team at Bitmap Books. It looks quite similar to their kind of style, that beautifully like kind of inflated pixels and yeah, kind of laying it out on the page and the way the text flows around. They do a great job with that. It looks quite a similar kind of format, so
yeah,
it should be nice.
She did an amazing job with the original, and she said that one of the complaints of the original, which I never really noticed, is that at the time, like, vintage retro wasn't really a thing, and she got some like low resolution scans, but they were like the best that she could find at the time. But now, like with this remaster, she went back and was like, okay, I need a really good quality version of these scans. So like anything that was lower quality back then has now been like remastered for the new book. So yeah, it's super
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah. So definitely check, and she's already smashed her goal. So like the book is happening. So definitely go check it out over there on Kickstarter. It's a cool book. Now, we talked about this briefly last week. It wouldn't be an AmigaBill news section without a trip over to Indie Retro News. Phantasy Star 2, Retro Lover is aiming to port the Sega Mega Drive RPG over to the Amiga. Now, Dan, I wasn't a big RPG guy back in the day, but this reminds me of, I can't remember which game I used to play back then. Were you an RPG guy back then?
No, not really. I mean, I was a bit more of and I still am really, arcade style games were always what I went for, racing games or platformers mainly. So yeah, RPG, not a genre that I'm massive on. I am obviously aware of this game, more for the Dreamcast version than the Master System or Mega Drive one.
Yeah, totally. I've heard of Phantasy Star and Phantasy Star 2. I've never played them, but I just think it's awesome that folks are doing this, like doing all these awesome ports over to Amiga. Like we're so lucky. We have so many amazing ports these days. We have enhanced ports. This says, so Neil's got a bit of a soft spot for the Sega Mega Drive, especially with my ever-growing collection of great games such as Fink, Golden Axe, Mickey Mania, and my personal favorite, Comics Zone. So to find out that Retro Lover was aiming to port the Sega Mega Drive game of Phantasy Star 2 over to the Commodore Amiga, this certainly caught my interest. Sure, it's still in a very early stage of development, and at one point I wasn't sure if it was going to go any further at all, but we're pleased to show you the latest demo footage from yesterday. Cool. Let's check out Saberman's video. Oh, sorry, Saber. I didn't mean to skip ahead like that. Boom. Full screen of Saber. Fantasies. I love the music. Nice music. Captain John Archer, thank you for the resub. AmigaBill forever. You rule, Captain. It looks nice. This blue window with the white lettering brings back a lot of nostalgia for me. But it looks like a quality release. We're getting so many quality remakes and releases, Dan, and ports for the Amiga. It's unbelievable.
I see this was made on Scorpion Engine as well, which has enabled a lot of those ports.
Scorpion Engine has been an absolute game changer for the Amiga community. I mean, think about all the new games that come out and how many are Scorpion Engine games. I feel like I'm almost gonna say that the majority of them are, maybe, but if not the majority, like it's close to that. It's just open up the doors to so many folks. Let's check out some of the gameplay here. Oh, that looks neat.
Ooh.
It's got some Fairy Tale Adventure vibes for sure. Fairy Tale Adventure was one of my favorite Amiga games back then, and it's definitely got some Fairy Tale Adventure vibes right now for me. But this looks fun.
It looks quite accessible as well. It doesn't look too complicated.
Yeah, I know.
Like it could be a nice pick up and play.
Exactly. Sometimes when I see a game and there's just all these things on the screen, I'm just like, my brain hurts.
Yeah.
The character development looks really good as well. It looks like there's a good story to it, as well as some character development. So I'm sorry I can't speak more intelligently about Phantasy Star, but I know it looks like a quality port. Quality port.
Yeah, I see he's trying to get it running on the Amiga 500 as well. He's currently got it working on the 1200, but yeah, if they can backport that to get 500 compatibility,
that'd be amazing.
Really cool. Yeah.
It would definitely be more accessible to more folks. I love the graphics. He looks like little Mega Man, right?
Yeah.
Holy bit, my man. Great to see you. One joyful day as well. So anyway, there you have it. There is a Phantasy Star 2 coming maybe soon to an Amiga near you. Oh, we gotta pause it. You know, it's nice not being logged into YouTube. So, I don't know where that Girls Gone Wild recommendation came to. I don't know. Normally I'm like logged in.
That's why you have another machine for that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm liking doing the news on this Pi. Oh man! And last and certainly not least, in this week's Amiga news section, Krogharr, the beer zerker, is coming soon to a Commodore Amiga near you. Now, if you guys may or may not remember, but Mike Borman is the creator of Envia, or Envia as I call it. He's a one-man wrecking crew. He did the graphics and the music and the coding to Envia. This is his sequel, and now he did like a soft launch of Krogharr a while back, and once the demo got into the hands of folks, he got lots of feedback, and he's like, you know what? I thought I was about ready to release this game, but I'm listening to all your feedback. I'm going back to the drawing boards, and I'm going to make it even better. So Michael has been working hard. I say maybe like over a year now on Krogharr, and it is coming out at the end of April. It says, Indie Retro News says, we were one of the first gaming websites to give you the heads up about Tiger Skunk's amazing shoot 'em up of Envia, a game with amazing scrolling graphics, super action, great sound effects, and a real hark back to the days of R-Type or Project X. Well, time has passed since its release, and this week, the same developer has shown a new video tease of his upcoming fighting game of the Amiga game called Krogharr, a new OCS action slasher, which was mentioned some time ago in our very own Facebook Commodore Amiga group. And it's looking sweet. It's looking sweet. Here's what the website says about the game. The evil Chatilian chieftain Pilsater stole the beer from Krogharr's home village, and now Krogharr is on a holy mission to retrieve what was taken and bestow revenge upon the hordes of enemies Pilsater sends across his way. Any game where you need to seek revenge about beer is pretty awesome.
I love the look of it as well. I'm getting a lot of Golden Axe kind of vibes from it as well, the gameplay, and that's one of my favorite games of all time.
It gives me Golden Axe vibes, as well as Barbarian, or Death Lord, as we call it here in the States. Let's see what the video shows. Let's see here. I see floating beer, lots of shopping. Oh, that's a nice big boss. This is awesome. Catch the flying beer. That's great.
And these kind of games were very popular on consoles, but yeah, there's not too many great kind of hack and slash games on the Amiga.
True.
I think, the Golden Axe port was great, but we only got the first game. So yeah, really welcome addition to the game library, I think that.
Yeah, this is going to be great. So I went over to Tiger Skunk's itch.io and downloaded a demo. We're going to play it after the news section. So I don't know if the demo is of the latest version or the older version, but regardless, we'll check it out. All the links to the Indie Retro News article as well as Tiger Skunk's itch.io will be in the description of this video. Go download the Krogharr demo, and coming up at the end of April, Michael will be coming on the stream as a guest for the launch of Krogharr the Beerzerker.
What a name. Love it.
I love it. Amiga community is the best, Dan. I mean, everyone's just so rad. I mean, it's a great sense of humor. Oh man, I saw Mike Tiger Skunk was in the show before, so I'm excited to play the game with him. It looks really cool. Yeah, and that's about the news for the week, Dan. Any thoughts, comments?
Yeah, just again, I mean, every time I watch your Amiga news videos, I'm blown away by how active the Amiga community is, how much new hardware and software and games. And yeah, I just think it just feels like it's getting better all the time as well. So long may it continue.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Mr. Wolverine DK says, Dan Wood, you rock. Greetings from Denmark, giving you cyber hugs. Everyone is super psyched that you are here with us today, Dan. I really appreciate you coming on. I can't wait to hang out with you in person at Vintage Computer Festival East, coming up in Wall Township, New Jersey, at the InfoAge Science Center, April 4th, 5th, and 6th. It's going to be one of the best Amiga 40 parties of the of the year, in my opinion. I think it's going to be great. And yeah, Dan, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. You're welcome to hang out if you want, but that was a pretty good chunk right there.
Yeah, always love coming on, Bill. And yeah, thank you again for inviting me on.
And
time always goes so quickly as well when I'm on here. It's like, yeah, can't believe we've done 2 hours.
Oh, it's been 2 hours? No
Yeah,
way!
crazy.
Holy crap! Holy crap, Dan! Time does go by really fast. It's just great hanging out, talking to a fellow Amiga fan. Time absolutely flies. Thank you for your time, Dan.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And where can folks keep up with you?
Yeah, so the podcast on all the major platforms, Spotify, Apple, or you can go to the website, theretrohour.com. New episodes of that released every Friday. I've got a YouTube channel as well, which hasn't been all that active recently, but there is some new stuff coming up soon. And some Amiga videos. As I mentioned before, I've got an Amithlon video coming out soon that I'm working on. So just search Dan Wood on YouTube. You'll find me there. And on all the socials as well, danwood_UK.
Awesome stuff, Dan. Yeah, your YouTube channel rocks. Like I said, it was your channel and Ravi's channels were like the ones that inspired me to start doing some YouTube stuff with Anthony. So you do great work, and appreciate all the efforts you put into the Amiga community and the retro community, and it was just so great chilling with you today.
Oh, it means a lot. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks as well.
See you in a couple of weeks. Last
Yeah.
one, the silver ball is a rusty ball. Cheers, Dan.
Awesome, Bill. Take it easy.
All right, see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. There you have it, folks. Dan Wood. Greg, see you there. Yeah, you guys enjoyed the chat. It was just kind of informal.